congressional district lines to benefit Republicans. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Brandon Smith reports Democrats rallied at the State House in response, railing against what they called a moral violation of democracy.
Braun confirmed that the vice president discussed redistricting during their meeting at the State House. Braun says he and state legislative leaders listened, but wouldn't say more than that. Democratic Congressman Andre Carson, one of the lawmakers who would be at risk under redistricting, called the fight a civil rights issue.
We will not accept our state being cut and spliced and maneuvered for a wannabe king in Donald Trump.
In statements, both State House Speaker Todd Huston and State Senate Leader Roderick Bray said they appreciated meeting with Vance, but neither statement made any commitments about redistricting.
Well, we're joined now by Indiana Public Broadcasting State House reporter Brandon Smith. Brandon, welcome. So there's this nationwide push for states to redistrict their congressional maps. Give us a little background. What started this?
Well, this started when President Donald Trump urged Texas lawmakers to redraw their state's congressional districts in order to boost Republicans' chances of picking up to 5 more seats there. That led to some democratically controlled states, including California, Illinois, and New York, considering something similar. And from there, the Trump administration is now pushing other GOP-controlled states like Indiana to engage.
So now in Texas, Democratic lawmakers fled the state to try to stifle the redistricting efforts. Could that happen in Indiana?
No, it absolutely cannot. So Republicans in Indiana have a supermajority in both the House and the Senate, and that means Republicans can conduct their business, pass legislation without Democrats even being present, which isn't true in Texas.
Now, so 7 of Indiana's 9 districts are pretty red. Could the state redraw the map to guarantee another Republican House seat? And then what would that do to already red districts?
So with the way that the technology around this has developed over the last kind of 2 decades, Indiana Republicans can absolutely redraw the state's congressional map to likely wipe out both of the Democrats who are currently in office. But there is some who believe that doing so would make some of the current Republican districts less solidly conservative, less red, and that potentially makes them a little more competitive.
So what would redistricting entail in Indiana?
So the governor could call a special session for lawmakers to redraw the maps, which would cost taxpayer dollars. For comparison, the 2-week special session in 2022 over abortion cost about $250,000. Lawmakers could also try to wait until they're back in their regular session in January, but they would have to pass that new map incredibly quickly because the filing deadline to run for those seats would be upon them.
So, maps are usually redrawn every 10 years after the census. We're halfway between censuses now. Are there legal challenges that could be made?
There will likely be legal challenges to any of the states that try to redraw their maps this year or in the middle of this cycle. Here in Indiana, they probably wouldn't be under state law because the state constitution stops lawmakers from redrawing the state legislative districts except for right after the census. But state law says that congressional maps must be drawn only during the first regular session of the General Assembly after a federal decennial census. But because it's only state law, Republicans can just as easily change that law as they can pass a new map.
Brandon, thank you so much for your coverage. Appreciate you being here today.